having to do with pole. So these are in relation to magnetism, Logan, and directed at Ken Wheeler. And also I saw some other people in the chat were asking about Ken Wheeler's take on flat Earth. And that will conclude my questions. This is Renogy. Peace.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Oh.
Did you have a comment on flat Earth, Ken?
Oh, well, he had a statement right before that, and I had a thought in my head. What did he say right before that?
Yeah, that's right.
I missed it. Renee, can you tell us again? Oh, there's a, yeah. Can you come?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, it has to do with light and weight, and also in the semblance to time.
Oh, you're talking actually about blue shift, which, of course, has greater power. That would be the red shift and the blue shift between, when you place a magnet underneath a ferrocell, for example, you immediately determine which is the North Pole and the South Pole. That proportionality of 1 to 5.
Right.
Well, shadow would be the greatest power, like the either side of a magnet. I actually said, who's the flat Earth person? His name is Daniel. He did an interview with me like 3 weeks ago.
Dave, I think he's talking about
Dave. It was. I'm sorry, it was 3 people, but I couldn't remember.
Yep.
Yeah, Dave, you were on with Dave.
Name. He's a really tall guy, slightly older. And he asked me, and towards the end of the interview, I said flat out, I said, since day one, space is fake. Since day one, I've said that, NASA, I use the word fraud in a general sense. And I'm also, too, told them specifically. And I said, I'm not trying to stroke your ego or anything here because this is your interview and 3 of them are interviewing me. And I said, specifically, I've actually seen no hardcore demonstrable evidence of curvature. And I meant that. And I said that to them towards the end of that, like, 2-hour-long interview that they had with me, the 3 of them.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. So back to
the volume of the torus too. Space is also too unreal. I've said that since day one. The volume of the torus is completely unreal. All of this follows. It sounds complicated, but it's not. You can look it up. It's called Poincare disk model, a projective geometry. Everything that we think Einstein is famous for was actually said by and discovered by this brilliant man called Henri Poincare. You can find most of his books for free on archive.org.
Yep. You've mentioned a few times that Einstein ripped a lot of stuff off of him. So let's in simple words. So the repelling part of the magnet, is that blue shift?
Repelling in what sense? Relational.
So this side's repelling. And this side is sucking in another magnet, right? This side's all...
Yeah, but I don't know what in relationship to what. I mean, the magnetic and the dielectric are working against each other, and that lowest pressure mediation is that hypertrochoid or spirograph pattern you see underneath the ferrocell, which is also to the same pattern in the dream catcher. So when you're talking about just one magnet only, I don't know what you mean about repelling and attraction.
I think he's talking about like it's got energy coming in and energy going out. Is that which way?
Well, so if you've got 2 magnets, right? One side of that magnet will always repel the other one side of another magnet, and then vice versa. So is redshift and blue shift set on that principle or not?
Just the magnet alone. The North Pole is redshifted and the South Pole is blue shifted. If any light is passed over it, this is actually how birds navigate. Even if the bird species is sees only a monochromatic, you can actually the birds. We know that birds navigate via magnetism, but not directly. No bird can see magnetism. Of course, they actually see the red shift and the blue shift, even if they are colorblind. They see that shift spectra to determine their navigation. We've known that for a long time, but we didn't know how they navigated via magnetism. And it can't be direct. No one has ever said that any animal can literally see the magnetic field. No animal can, including no species of birds, but that's the actual answer of how they navigate. You can see that too underneath, and I told that to the inventor of the ferrocell, Tim Vanderelli, who's the inventor. And he said, he was never using at any point in time RGB LEDs to illuminate up a ferrocell. He's only using white light LEDs. But if you look closely, even under white light LEDs, you can see the red shift and the blue shift.
Yep.
But he never made visual acknowledgement of,
Excuse me, can I ask you, just to clarify, because there's a lot of this shifting pulsations that we're in, but then we have this clarity, we have this reality to all this, in perception and how it feels. Our feelings kind of make everything's real, right? And so, like, the ground has something to do with grounding this energy. And, you know, do you think that we live on a spinning globe, a spinning ball?
I think we live
Or
on a
do you
planet.
feel, or
Well, we would have different words of the ether. I mean, we call it the firmament and call it the plane of inertia. I've called it the plane of inertia, same as Walter Russell said. So
Yep. The
all
plane of inertia.
volume is completely unreal. You know, the
And-
air inside the torus of the magnetic field. Magnetic field is a toroid, undeniably so, 100% undeniable. I mean, the air, the volume inside that is completely unreal. Space is fake. I've said that since day one. Human beings reify things that don't exist. Space, emptiness, shadows. No such thing as a shadow. Shadow's an absence of light. Shadow is not a thing in itself. So we have the same idea of space and volume. It's the same thing that Henri Poincaré said. Of course, he's a mathematician, a very brilliant one, in saying that volume is fake. So,
what is pain?
what is pain? No, which type of pain? All metaphysics speak of two different types of pain. Spiritual pain, which is pre-embodiment due to primordial agnosis, desire. We talk about hungry ghosts. I mean, the ancient probably word for a ghost is a monomyakaya, which literally translated is highly accurate, which is a mind-made artifice. I mean, hell, as far as the evil devil and what I'm not interested in discussing religion, but I mean, hell is real in an absolute sense. It doesn't have to be, you know, a red guy with a pitchfork, obviously, and, you know, in a lake of fire. I mean, how would we be burning without physical bodies? I mean, there's hell is certainly real, but it's certainly not the way we imagine it from Dante's Inferno and as Catholicism gave it to us. But there's certainly two levels of suffering, obviously. So we could say there's many levels of suffering. One is embodiment. One is existential pain, which I'm experiencing right now with peripheral neuropathy. Of course, I'm in constant pain, but you know, there's a pain that's, of course, pre-embodiment and post-embodiment. That's due to our desires, fears, and ignorance. Same way we suffer in dreams. I mean, we're walking around and experiencing things and experiencing volume in our dreams, and experiencing pain in our dreams, but it's not physical pain. You know, it's a different type of pain. Mental anguish. I guess we could say there's three different types of pain. There's physical, mental pain. There's mental anguish and pain, physical pain, and then pre-embodiment and post-embodiment, i.e., after-death pain. I don't know if there'd be one other than those three. Would there be? Not that I can acknowledge. Might be one I'm not thinking of.
Yeah.
How does that relate on the magnetic field? Does that have to do with grounding, like with grounding? Because this would be hell, right? This would be like the Midgard. This is the middle. This is where weight is, right? We call gravity, right? The weight.
That's a good question. I've gone by barefoot most of my life. I mean, I think I've lived 95% of my life in the belief in grounding. I go on barefooted everywhere, but I actually can't comment intelligently on grounding as far as being barefooted. So that's
Well, it's good. That's Midgard because it's both. It's like heaven and hell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't comment intelligently on that one, though.
Well, there is such a thing as grounding. A lot of people do it. They sell the mats. I don't know. There's a lot to say about the whole grounding aspect of magnetism.
I'm the same, Ken. I go 95% barefoot everywhere on the stones.
No, you're always barefoot.
Always barefoot, and I've been doing that since I grew up in the farm back in Australia, Victoria, Australia. Yeah, country bumpkin, and we just
Country bumpkin.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
I'll be doing that tomorrow. I'll be down on my farm barefoot in the cabin and traipsing around and going down to my spring water.
Yeah,
Nice.
Qigong related because you approach things very scientifically with what you can answer, and you do a phenomenal job breaking down magnetism. And my question, I guess, is have you seen like Dynamo Jack or any of these monks who can make fire with their hands?
Oh, I have not. I've been around a lot of monastics, but I haven't seen anything amazing from any of them. But that's just because all the ones I've been around they're not remarkable in any way, shape, or form, I guess. Just like most of them. Bhikkhu means devotee. It doesn't mean monk. That whole Judeo-Christian idea of monastic and monkdom. The word that comes from bhakti or bhikkhu, which means devotee. You're devoted to transcendence and wisdom. And that's what the word really means. But it's translated as monk. But that's not what it means at all.
Yeah.
Well, we got another.
Buddhism is upside down.
Yeah. You got another. You have any more questions, Renee G? Or because we're got another caller that we want to bring in.
Thanks. That's it. Maybe just on the moon. Maybe just your take on the moon.
Nice.
And that's it.
Great questions.
Thank you.
Great questions. I really enjoyed this conversation.
I've got a take on the moon. I reckon the moon's dielectric and the sun is magnetic. That's it.
Yep. Isis and Osiris.
Yep.
Yep.
The sun is a
Really?
field.
See, I would think the sun and the sun is magnetic and the moon is electric and the Earth is dielectric because it's polarized with the positive and negative on the dielectric plane. No,
I think
Am I-
Saturn is electric. L.
Okay.
He's also known as El, Elohim, and El.
dude, all my research keeps coming back to
That's
that.
electricity. No, I think the sun is magnetic. It's the field perturbator. It's warm light, and the moon is definitely cold light. So it's like the moon is like dielectrically sucking light into it more, like, but the sun is just, it's pouring out of the sun,
The ancients called, well, at least in ancient Pali, they called the moon the king of Athabhava, which means of self-becoming, because of lunar phases where the light is waxing and waning, or the false light, the light of suffering, which is constantly bhava nubhava, perpetual becoming and rebecoming. So this idea of cyclic, ignorant cyclic transmigration.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, next caller then. So,
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Cheryl, welcome on.
hey, Cheryl.
You can take yourself off mute, Cheryl. There you go.
Hey guys. So I have